Welcome to the Root Cause Revolution podcast with functional and integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner, Audrey Christie.
Hey friends, has school started back for you? Man, I remember those days. Listen, we're going to talk today about staying well when school starts because it can be tricky. Welcome. If this is your first time listening, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Audrey. I'm a root cause clinician. I specialize in helping women to stop masking symptoms and start healing for good from chronic illness, autoimmune disease, whatever it is that you just can't shake. I work with people who have tried it all and still aren't at the level of health and wellness that they desire and deserve. We work together using a non-traditional approach, including naturopathy, functional nutrition, functional wellness, and energy medicine. So I specialize in helping you start your own root cause revolution to rebalance your body so it can heal for good. So if you're done with Band-Aids and you're ready for real healing solutions, I am here to help. You are in the right place. Now, it's time to head back to school, right? I think most people have started school right now. Some of my Canadian listeners may not be quite back to school yet. And I'm not sure about some of you guys in Europe and down under, but most people, at least in my neck of the woods, have headed back to school. Now, we used to head back to school, and we've been homeschooling for about 3 years now and absolutely would not change it. I give the kiddos an option every year. They're 14 and 11. I give them an option every year if they'd like to go back to public school or continue homeschooling. And whatever it is, they just have to continue doing that for the entire year. We're not going to flip-flop back and forth. And so far, we have chosen to continue homeschooling. But for many of you, you're heading back to school, your kiddos are heading back to school. And what I hear most often, my acute care visits tend to uptick in the fall, right? Because a lot of people catch every single bug and virus that hits the classroom. Sometimes it's the teachers that catch everything. Oftentimes it's the students that then bring it home to the families. And then I get all the calls, Audrey, I have this, we have that. What can we do? Right? But don't worry, it doesn't have to be that way. You can start and maintain an improved immune system right now by just a few simple tips, okay? So, first things first, get plenty of sleep. Kids need lots of sleep, and they need good sleep. In fact, their immune system and lots of other things really depend on it. Now, age can be a factor with the amount of sleep required, but somewhere for your kindergartner through your 12th grader, somewhere between 8 to 12 hours of sleep every single night. So if your little needs to get up at 6 a.m. to catch the bus or to make it to school on time so that you can get to work on time, you can do the math and count backwards as to what bedtime should be. And that's not just laying in bedtime. That means eyes closed and asleep time, okay? Now, the second thing to consider is stress management. Stress is the number 2 biggest factor in immune response. Bet you thought I'd say hand washing, but that's not it. It's really, really important to avoid stress, and it's much easier to start giving your kids a toolbox to use to help when stress occurs now. So I frequently recommend apps like Headspace for Kids. They have great meditation techniques. Kids as young as 5 can partake there. Another option is journaling or a mindful movement practice. It really just depends on the age and the style that fits for your kids. But stress management is one of the top factors in immune response. Another one of the top factors in immune response is sugar intake. So make sure that if we're having sweet things, if we're having things in packages, it's fruit and vegetables. It's not to say they can never have a treat, but let's mitigate some of that junk that's in their lunch boxes. And God forbid, please don't let them eat their lunches at school if you can at all avoid it. I know some people can't, and that's okay. But you want to start teaching your kids what makes good nutrition, because it is not what the USDA on My Plate or whatever, the food groups, what used to be the food pyramid, that does not constitute a nourishing meal for anyone. And then the next thing is to get rid of your multivitamin, right? I'm like, yeah, throw it away. It is much more beneficial for your kid's immune system, for their stress, for their overall wellness, and for their focus to depend on different categories of supplements, mainly omega-3s, probiotics, and vitamin Ds. Now, you'll find these in your local health stores. It's not likely you'll find all of these in the same supplement. In fact, I would say steer clear of it if you do. But these can range from liquid to chewable to capsule, depending on your child's ability to consume them, how they prefer to consume them. And they are much more important for your immune system and overall wellness than your daily multivitamin. So I want you to take these tips, get plenty of sleep, stress management, sugar management, and kick that multivitamin to the curb. And avoid catching every cold and virus and illness and stomach bug that goes around school so that you can have a healthy and a well back to school season. As always, I've got links in the show notes for you to look at. You can find practitioner grade supplements, which include supplements for kids. You can ask a question for an upcoming show. And if you or your little does get sick, you can schedule an acute care appointment with me virtually from anywhere in the world. So as always, friends, I am rooting for you. I'm rooting for your kiddos going back to school, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to the Root Cause Revolution podcast. Be sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Ratings and reviews are always appreciated.